This is my buddy Bryan. He's a real estate investor here in Birmingham, Alabama, and he has been buying houses for 20 years. He bought this property for $25,000 in East Lake, and I went to the property with him just to walk through. I wanted him to tell me what he was doing in the property and why he bought it. This is the neighborhood, great street, and inside the house definitely needed work. I can tell why he only paid $25,000 for it. But I would also warn anybody who thinks that they should be buying a $25,000 house, because this property needed a lot of work. And unless you have an appetite for work throughout the property and a big price tag for a rehab, I think you probably need to steer clear. You can see this kitchen need to be completely gutted and renovated. The hardwood floors all needed to be refinished. Every wall needed to be painted. There was just a lot to be done at this property. So I wanted to ask Bryan what he plans to do with it. What are his exit strategies for this property? And so here we go.
Bought it as is, bought it from a wholesaler that we bought a number of houses from. And we are having it cleaned out today. We'll have main level and the basement cleaned out. And then that's it. We are probably going to come in. We lost some of our electrical. It was stolen. We'll replace that electrical for the new homeowner. We will not replace the HVAC system, and they'll get it as is. When we look at any property, I am looking for multiple exit strategies. If this thing does not owner finance out, I got to do something with it. I've got to fix it up, use it for rental, or in this area, I can fix it up and sell it on the retail market. I came up with like a $65,000 rehab number. I can probably do this for $50,000 if it's going to be a rental piece of property. I don't ever want to buy any one house in any area, I don't care where it is, to where I've only got one exit strategy.
So let's look at this from a rental standpoint. From a rental perspective, you paid $25,000. You could, if you put $65,000 in it, we're talking about $90,000 in the house. The ARV is about $130,000. You can rent this house for what, $1,000 a month?
I can for sure get $1,000 a month. Probably can push that to about $1,100 a month. If I can find an area to put a second bathroom in here, I'll take that close to $1,200 a month.
All right, so there you have it. $25,000 house, $65,000 rehab, renting for $1,000. But let's talk about some things that we can learn from this video, learn from this property, because I believe that when a lot of investors get into buying real estate, they start thinking of these super cheap houses in tertiary markets like Birmingham, maybe a Little Rock, Chattanooga, Jackson, Mississippi, which that's fine. But let's talk about some things that I can pull from this, just being with Bryan and having known him for a very long time. Local investors are 100% going to have an advantage here, especially if they've been buying from a wholesaler for a long time. You can find these houses, but your best bet as an investor, maybe an out-of-state investor buying in some of these tertiary markets, is to hook up with an investor-friendly agent who then has built relationships with several different wholesalers. I've been a wholesaler, and I can tell you what wholesalers love. They want somebody who's going to close with cash and can do it fast. I am sure that Bryan, when he says he's bought many houses from this wholesaler, he's done that. So that's one thing. Second thing is, a $65,000 rehab is not right for everybody. Now, Bryan said that if he was going to hold it for rental, he could do it for $50,000. That's great. Regardless, $50,000, $65,000, that is not for everybody, especially if you don't have a team on the ground, somebody that you can trust on the ground to manage the rehab, make sure it's done. At the end of the day, you have to have somebody you can trust. Then the third thing that we notice here is that Bryan has already thought of multiple ways to handle this property. Now, what he wants to do is he wants to owner finance this property, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in just a second. The other two options he mentioned, he could in that area, in this area of East Lake, he could retail the property. Of course, from a rental perspective, if you have 90,000 in it, less than 90, maybe you've got, if you did it to rental standards and he had maybe 30,000 in it, then an additional 50, so he had 80,000 in it, and he's renting it for $1,000, $1,100, then that's a fantastic deal for a rental investor. And then lastly, the thing that he really wants to do with it, he bought it for 25 with the electrical that he said he's going to add plus clean out. You're probably talking around, he told me his electrical quote was $3,500. So let's just say he's all in at $30,000. He is going to sell this property to an end user. Now, this is somebody who cannot get a conventional loan and they want to buy the house as is and have him hold the note and on a 15-year mortgage. So if you think about that, if he has 30 in it and he sells it for 65 or 75,000 as is, the person is going to come in and a lot of times they're going to do all the work themselves on the property, get it exactly the way they want it, and they're going to sit there with equity in the property because it's not going to cost them 65 or even 50,000 to rehab this themselves. They're going to do all the painting, the flooring, all this stuff themselves. They're going to have a fantastic house with some good equity in it. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like the video, and just let us know if you want to see more videos like this. I can go to any of our offices throughout the Southeast and analyze deals just like this so you can see what's available in different types of markets. Be happy to do that. We have investor agents in a lot of markets that can let me in on some of the deals that are out there so that we can see, hey, is this a property you should buy or not? All right, that's it. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more videos next week for real estate investors just like you.